Okay, let's talk about the bigger picture. I said earlier that backups are part of the bigger picture. What is the part that backup plays in this bigger picture? What is the bigger picture? All right. So backup plays an important role and a significant role in the process comprised of business continuity and disaster recovery. So the objective of these backups is to protect your data so that they can be restored and they can be accessed during dealing with a disaster or the effects of a disaster. Okay? Let's talk about business continuity. Business continuity refers to the ability of a company to continue operations as close to normal as possible during some kind of a disaster. That disaster could mean, somebody accidentally deletes a giant folder full of critical company data. There could be a flood or whatever, something that either destroys your data or basically disrupts operation. All right, it disrupts operation. Rather, that's because its data has been destroyed, a fire, access to that data has been severed, or whatever. All right, so business continuity is the process or the ability of a company to continue operations as close to normal as possible during a disaster, whatever that disaster may be. Now, disaster recovery, all right, of course, disasters happen. Disaster recovery is a process to recover from a disaster. It's what a company does to recover from a disaster. For example, if there's a fire and your equipment is burned up, how do you recover? And you can see where backups play an important part because yes, you can get a new building, you can perhaps order a new desk, maybe you have insurance and you can purchase a new facility or perhaps get the facility repaired or what have you. But now you've done that. What about your data? Well, backups is part of that disaster recovery because as part of recovering from a disaster, you're going to bring back all of your data so you can get back up and running. All right. So this is very, very important. Now, what is a disaster? Like I said, a disaster could be a flood, fire. It could be something simple as a failed hard drive or somebody accidentally deleting a folder or a critical file or a database going down or something like that. But backups will enable you in many cases to recover from that disaster, and the business continuity will allow you to continue running while you're, resolving the disaster. You're getting back up and running. Now, there's something I want to mention. It's called the BCDR. It's business continuity and disaster recovery, because those two really, in most cases, they go together. All right, because if you have a disaster, you just don't want your business to end. I mean, not end. You just don't want your business operations to stop until the flood waters are gone or things are put back into place. You want to be able to continue working. You want your business to continue going during dealing with a disaster. All right, so that's the business continuity. The disaster recovery. So you're going to have, and we're not going to talk about this. I just wanted to bring these to your attention. You're going to have a business continuity plan and you have a disaster recovery plan. All right. And I'll probably do other videos about that specifically. All right. But in any case, backups are a significant part of that because it doesn't matter if you can get your office back up and running. It doesn't matter if the power is back on, well, not power. You're not going to lose data for power loss, but it doesn't matter if you restore the facility, if, you drain the water from a flood and now you've got the, everything's dried out and the office is ready for everybody to come back to. None of that means anything. All of that means nothing if you can't restore your data. And that's where backups is such an important part of a business continuity and disaster recovery. All right. Yes, it's part of business continuity, as we'll see. Some systems, the backups can be used during dealing with the disaster business continuity. All right. Okay. Which I'm going to tell you right now. There are systems where you can what's called spin up a VM in the cloud. A VM is a virtual machine. It's a virtual version of a computer or a server, and you could you can power it up, so to speak, in the cloud virtually. Right? I mean, think about it. An operating system, like Windows, is just really a program. That's all it is a program. So you can have a virtual machine that can run virtually. It's just a program. And it's specifically formatted files and so forth. But anyway, as part of a backup solution, some backup solutions can create backups in the form that they can be actually powered up, in the cloud during a disaster for business continuity. So let's say you've backed up your server. You backed up, let's say just your computer. You backed it up, but your backup software or your backup solution, we'll talk about solutions later, your backup solution creates a virtual machine out of that image of your computer, of your hard drive, so that if necessary, you could power that thing up in the cloud. I mean, that gets well beyond what we're talking about here, but that is a capability. The end result that if you could get to another location with an internet connection and so forth, you can get you can get to the same resources that are on that machine. All right. Now, next we're going to talk about some backup components, because of course you're going to need stuff to create your backups. You're going to need items and to make that backup, to energize, if you will, your backup plan. But first, let's talk about what are the components that you're going to need for your backups next.